College Foresters. Good evening, everyone. This is Randy Yoder. Along with me, my partner Tony Davis, the Sports Information Director at St. Francis College. We've got a surprising matchup tonight. I think everybody expected in this tournament this season that St. Francis and Huntington College would face each other, but they were supposed to face each other in the consolation game. Last night, St. Francis College defeated Indiana Tech, and then IPFW was upset by Huntington College in the second game. So tonight, the championship game between two Cinderella teams. And Tony, I think they're both just happy to be here.
I think you're absolutely right, Randy. Good evening, and it is going to be an exciting evening of basketball tonight. As you said last night, Indiana Tech favored to beat the Cougars last night, were upended by an 86-81 count, and IPFW was upset by these Huntington Foresters 103-93. Our consolation game tonight, 86-76, IPFW winners. I think we can start, Randy, by looking at the matchups tonight. Some real interesting matchups. I talked to Jim Holstein, and we happened to have a chance to talk to second-year coach of the Huntington Foresters, Lynn Plett. Looking first at the guard position, Mike Bowen for St. Francis will be matched up against Dave Nichols. Nichols scored 18 points last night, and Bowen, of course, will be the defensive player for St. Francis. I think a key matchup will be Brett Norris and Scott Neff. Neff, really the catalyst for this Huntington team. He had 10 assists last night, 16 points, and Norris is the team captain for St. Francis. He had 19 points and 6 assists. I think the big men underneath, too. Dan Clafter at 6'7" and 220 against Sebastian Onyango. 22 points, 12 boards last night, Randy.
Tony, I like the way that Coach Holstein describes Onyango. He calls him a man. And he says of all these boys out here on the floor, that is a real man under there, and he is. He fills up a lot of space. And we saw that last night in the IPFW game, that when he was on the bench, he did not... IPFW was able to take the ball to the hole, and with him back in, they had to shoot from the outside.
They're introducing the starting lineups right now for St. Francis. There's Mike Bowen. And again, no surprise, John Tudor came in last night, scored 8 points in the second half. His second straight night starting. Dan Clafter, the junior, had a good game last night. And, of course, the team captain, Brett Norris, 19 points, 6 assists last night. And Dan Kowicki, 26 points, 8 boards.
Thanks, Tony, for the Huntington Foresters, coached by Lynn Plett.
And now for the home team on the scoreboard, the Foresters.
Huntington will be the home team tonight. They're in the white, trimmed in green and red. St. Francis is in the blue uniforms with the white trim and numerals.
One guard, the 6'2" junior from Carlisle, Michigan, number 3, Marty Hale.
Starting for Huntington, number 3, Marty Hale. He's a 6'2" junior. He's playing guard. He's from Carlisle, Michigan. Number 22, Scott Neff, is a guard, sophomore, 5'11", 160 pounds. He's from Huntington, Indiana as well. Starting at center, the Mon, number 55, Sebastian Onyango, 6'7", 220 from Nairobi, Kenya. New starter tonight, Tony, for Huntington, Rob New, number 10. He's got some experience. He's 6'6", 200 pounds. And, of course, number 11, David Nichols, the outside threat for Huntington College, 6'5", junior, and he'll be playing forward. He's from Muncie, Indiana. Looking for an exciting game tonight, Tony. These teams should be very evenly matched.
I think so. The keys, I think, for Huntington are going to be to control the boards.
And here's our national anthem.
an exciting evening of basketball. St. Francis looks like they've brought a pretty good crowd here tonight, as have the Foresters of Huntington College.
Tony, I think what the viewers tonight can look for, if they watched last night, Huntington's not going to change much from what they did last night. They're going to run, they're going to shoot, they're going to go in, they're going to go out. They're going to pressure the ball and move it up the floor as fast as they can.
It's going to be an up-tempo game from Huntington, and it's going to be on the other side. The Cougars are going to have to try to control the tempo. We're going to see how many touches. Last night, St. Francis scored 11 out of 17 times that they had 4 touches. Jim Holstein told me today that's going to be a key.
Jumping center for Huntington is number 55, Onyango, and jumping for St. Francis will be Dan Clafter, number 54. Should be a good one. Hope you'll enjoy it. Stay with us here at the championship game of the IPFW Tip-Off Classic. Huntington College and St. Francis. And St. Francis controls the tip to Dan Klawicki. Gets the ball to Mike Bowen, and Huntington opens up in a zone defense. Well, it's a matchup zone, actually. Clafter's first shot gets his own rebound off the front of the rim. Takes it up. It's blocked by New. Neff with the rebound, brings it down the floor. Huntington with their first possession. Working around the perimeter, St. Francis in a man-to-man, just like last evening against Indiana Tech. Quick hands by Bowen, knocks the ball out of bounds.
St. Francis is going to stay in their real tight defense. They're looking for that three-point shot. Huntington, 8 3-pointers last night.
Rob New passes the ball inbounds to set the offense up to Scott Neff. What you look for tonight, Tony, is Neff will shoot the long one out there. As Norris knocks it out of bounds on the dribble.
Neff's
Huntington will have 16 seconds on the shot clock yet.
Neff's the catalyst, Randy. He's the guy that makes this team go. So you look for him to penetrate and then dish off.
Lob pass into Onyango. First 2 points, easy layup. 2-0, Huntington. St. Francis brings the ball up immediately. Works it over to John Tudor. Had a good game last night for the Cougars. 2. Mike Bowen, sophomore. This is his first 2, ties the game at 2. Scotty Neff on the point. Tony, you're going to see Neff tonight, especially on defense. He goes after the steal, and then he cheats and goes down the floor and waits for Onyango to clean up and feed the long one to him. And right now they're going in underneath to Onyango. They're going to challenge Clafner, and probably later Kozakiewicz when he comes in to spell Clafner.
I think it might be a switch to see Jim Kozakiewicz because Clafter, we'll see how long Clafter can go. There's Norris in for 2.
Well, with Brett, if you give him the baseline, he's going to drive it, and any well-coached player will do that. St. Francis was hurting last night on the baseline. They were giving it up a lot. Looks like tonight, since they're not fronting players, they might not have that problem. We'll see.
We're tied at 4-4.
And lob over the top. Onyango in and around and out. Gets his own rebound, and he's fouled. Mike Bowen with the reach-in foul sends Sebastian Onyango to the line. Sebastian Onyango, number 55, 6'7", 220 pound, and I'll tell you, he looks all at 220.
He's a 45% free throw shooter last year. Last night he shot 4 for 8.
He's a junior at Huntington. Saves underneath and out of bounds will be St. Francis. Onyango tried to save it underneath. Went out on the side. St. Francis will play from there. 17:53 to go here in the first half. We just began the game. I hope you're enjoying it so far. It's 4-4. The Huntington Foresters versus the St. Francis College Cougars here in this championship game of the tip-off tournament at IPFW.
We certainly like to thank the sponsors, in part the Sertoma Club of Fort Wayne, who've made this tournament possible.
St. Francis turns the ball over. Fast break. 22. Scott Neff on the solo drive. 6-4, Huntington.
Huntington looks like they're still in that matchup zone, Randy.
It looks more like man-to-man now, Tony. I thought it was a matchup earlier, but I misspoke, but it's man-to-man's effective. Another turnover. Oh, missed the easy one off of Clafter's hands. Huntington underneath their own basket.
It's imperative that St. Francis control the tempo and pass the ball around, and so far they haven't been very successful at doing that.
We'll get to that when they're on. Oh, there's the feed into Onyango, knocked out of bounds by Clafter. They'll take it in again from the other side of the basket on the far side. Nuke. Keys to play. Into Nichols. Haven't heard much from him tonight. John Tudor knocks the ball out of bounds for the Cougars. 41 seconds on the shot clock. Plenty of time for the Foresters. Gets the ball out front. Sets the offense. And he travels. Just little baby steps, but enough to get a travel.
That's 2 turnovers for Huntington so far, Randy.
Well, St. Francis now, Tony, on offense. They've been trying to work the ball into the big man. They probably want to get Onyango in foul trouble, but they're collapsing on that, and the pass is being broken up. We'll see if St. Francis is going to still try and do that this time down.
It's 6-4, Huntington.
Gave the baseline up, drived in, and blocked. 3 guys collapsed on Dan Klowicki that time. Didn't have much of a chance. Feed over the top to Onyango. Easy punny. Another layup. He doesn't shoot much from outside 3 feet, but he's effective from 3 feet and in. And that's what Huntington doesn't want. Get a lot of fouls on their center.
Last year, St. Francis had Onyango in foul trouble. These 2 teams split last year, Randy.
Home and home?
Home and home.
Well, we'll find out who the team is tonight. We're on a neutral floor.
John Tudor, the junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, with his first 2.
15-foot wing shot. He likes that one. Steal by Norris. And a foul by number 22, Scotty Neff. He's pleading to the other referee, but to no avail. Yeah, it often happens, Tony. You go down, you make the turnover, then you try so hard on defense coming back, and you commit the silly foul, and that's what Scotty did there.
Well, I'm sure both these teams didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. They had to be cranked up after those 2 exciting games last evening.
Well, according to our wonderful statistician, Brett Rickendollar, we've got about, how many turnovers now in this game? About 6 or 7 between the 2 teams.
We had 7 turnovers.
So they're both fairly tight here in the opening stages of this game. We're not yet 5 minutes in. Brett Norris from moonshot 3.
That's Brett Norris, the team captain for St. Francis, with his first 3.
St. Francis takes the lead by 1, 9-8. Feed to the middle, Onyango, and
that's what Jim Holstein was looking to do. They want Onyango to get the ball 6 to 8 feet.
Well, he did the Kenya shuffle in there on that one. He moved every which way to get it up there. It's a nice move. He can get away with it, but not this time.
He's a 220-pounder from Nairobi, Kenya.
I think he played for the African national team a couple of years ago. Skip pass over to Tudor. Works the ball, back to Norris, drives in, 15-footer from the foul line, rolls it over the front. Nice touch. St. Francis by 3, 11-8, 15-15 to go in the first half.
7 for Brett Norris.
Oh, nobody home on that pass.
That's 5 turnovers already for Huntington. St. Francis has 4, Randy.
You know, last night, beginning of the game with Huntington IPFW, when Rob New was on playing guard, he was throwing some wild passes too until he settled down later. He really became a force in the second half. And he's an older player for Huntington, and I think they need that maturity, but once he settles down, we'll see what happens. There's a turnaround to Dan Klowicki. Nice turnaround. Good square up on the baseline.
That's his first 2 of the night. He had 26 last night.
Oh, there's a wild shot by Neff. Rebounded by St. Francis. Cleared by Mike Golan. Takes it down. Long pass to Klowicki, who holds it on the wing. St. Francis will set up the offense. This is what Jim Holstein wants. If the easy break's not there, take it down, work it. They don't want to run with Huntington. Wing shot, no good by Bowen. Rebound cleared out to Neff. Brings the ball down the floor. He's on the wing. Back around the top, works it around the circle.
They can't give him that one, Randy. That's Scotty Neff with his 4th point.
13-10, St. Francis Cougars ahead of the Foresters of Huntington. 14 minutes to go in the game. Norris down the baseline, pulls up short. Nice touch, bounces off the rim a couple times and in. It's another 2 for Brett. He's having a good game tonight so far. He looks fairly sure of himself. Feed into Onyango. Drive by Neff. Up. Nothing. Little contact there, no foul, no whistle. St. Francis in a control break. It's 3-on-3. They pull it up. Feed down low. Clafter, hook shot, 2 points.
Dan Clafter, the 6'7" junior from Middletown, Ohio, with his first 2 of the night.
It's the biggest lead for St. Francis tonight. Oh, there's the give and go. And good. New with the layup and the foul. Dan Klawicki picks
I think
up the
that foul was on Dan Clafter, Randy.
It was on Clafter? I'm sorry. Klawicki got picked off on, of course he got picked off on a pick and was trailing the play.
17-12, 13:25 left in the first half here at IPFW at the IPFW Sertoma Tip-Off Classic. Randy Yoder and Tony Davis, along with our spotter Brett Richendaler. Couple of substitutions for St. Francis. Jim Kozakiewicz, number 51, in for Dan Clafter, along with number 44, Todd Galloway. This will be Kozakiewicz's first action this season, and Jim Holstein told me today that he was expecting to play Cozy.
For Huntington College, we have Darren Blocklinger, the substitute, and Marty Hale, number 3, is coming at guard. So we've got substitutions here at the 13-minute mark in the first half. Todd Galloway thought about it, pulled it down, over to Bowen, working their offense. Looking for the little 12-foot shotter in. Moonshot! 3! Screwed it in there. Good shot by Brett Norris.
I've been keeping the statistic, Randy, on these 4 touches, and I'll give it to you in just a bit.
And right back, Oyengo with the easy layup.
The Cougars have executed the 4-touch offense 5 times, and they've scored 4 times so far, Randy.
Mike Bowen goes down hard. He looks like he hurt an ankle. He tripped over somebody and got a forearm across the throat, and he's hurt. He is not getting up.
There goes assistant coach Tom Jackson, who also doubles up as the trainer for St. Francis. He's right over there, and Holstein is concerned.
Well, Mike Bowen's the best ball handler St. Francis has. He's just a sophomore. He's a guard, 6'2" guard, secondary education major from Ohio City, Ohio. He went to Crestview, and this does not bode well for St. Francis. Let's hope it's not a serious injury. We don't like to see anyone get hurt, but this can't help St. Francis, especially if Huntington decides to press, and they did last night in their game against IPFW.
And I think the importance is that Bowen-Nichols matchup. Nichols had 18 points last night, and looks like they're carrying him off the court. So we'll try to check in on them. We'll probably see if we can't get Brett Richendaler, our spotter, sometime right after halftime, get down and see how he's doing. 12:38 left in the half, 20-15, St. Francis over Huntington.
And Larry Land is taking Bowen's place in the lineup. Talking to Coach Holstein before the game, he said Larry's had a touch of the flu overnight, so he might not be up to snuff. He looks a little pale, but it's that time of year around here.
Larry had a wonderful ball game last night. He had 12 points, came off the bench, and it was kind of a coming out for Larry Land. It was an exciting game for him, and Jim Holstein was sure very pleased about that. Land's going to shoot the free throws. He's a left-hander, and he's from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Off the back of the rim for the first one, a little long. They'll shoot the second
Land's
one.
a 60, he's a 90% free throw shooter, Randy. So this is just a rare miss for him. And he missed them both.
Yeah, but the rebound's controlled by Galloway. St. Francis set up the offense with a fresh 45-second clock. Working their offense on the left side.
Definitely a small team in there right now for St. Francis.
Norris with a turnaround from the baseline, 6-footer. St. Francis
14
up by 7.
for Norris.
St. Francis up by 7. Baseline shot. Blocklinger, no good. Rebound, St. Francis took away by Yango. And the foul on Kozakiewicz, I think.
Jim Kozakiewicz. Well, one of the keys for St. Francis is to block out, to keep that big man off the boards.
No, Brett Norris picked up the foul. He got a reach foul. It's blocked out. Onyengo is a big man. I didn't ever see Brett down there on the other side of him. There's a 3-point shot. No good. Blocking foul on number 40, Matt Holman. I think that's his first.
Holman's a 180-pound junior from Lima, Ohio, Randy. But it's going to be key for St. Francis to keep this big man off the boards. Last night he had 9 offensive rebounds.
Let's set the lineups again for St. Francis. We've got Larry Land, Brett Norris, John Tudor. Let me see. They made a substitution. And Jim Kozakiewicz. That's correct. And another substitution now for the Foresters, number 45, James Smith, in for the first time. He's got those Alcindor, that shows you how old I am, Abdul-Jabbar glasses, now made famous by James Worthy. He wears them a lot. Isaiah Thomas doesn't need them very much anymore. Shot missed by St. Francis. Foresters on offense, feed into Onyango, turn around, short, over the back, number 44, Darren Blocklinger. He's aggressive on the boards, but he crashed over the back. And
Blocklinger had a good game last night also for Huntington. Scored 10 points. 11:21 left in the first half. 22-15, St. Francis College over the Foresters of Huntington College.
St. Francis setting a lot of picks down low, trying to cause some confusion down underneath, and at the same time get the big men in foul trouble. Norris short on that, follows his shot. Nice touch. Never even brought the ball down. Brett Norris came to play tonight. He looks a lot better, more in control than last evening. St. Francis extends the biggest lead of the game. 9. Layup missed by Onyango. Rebound controlled by Larry Land, who drives a fast break. Feed to 20. Good!
John Tudor! 26-15, St. Francis.
First double-digit lead for the Cougars tonight. 10 minutes to go, 10.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Huntington's content to try and work the ball into Onyango. He's missed a lot of easy layups. He's doing that turnaround. Off again. Rebound, Smith, and back in. Nice athletic move by James Smith.
James Smith's a freshman from New Albany, Indiana, 6'4", 190.
His first 2 of the night, and it leads back to 9. St. Francis Cougars. Brett Norris trips on the shot, throws up a prayer, saved by St. Francis, knocked away. Some heavy ball down there. A lot of bodies flying around, no score. Huntington controls. Neff throws up a hope and a prayer, but draws the foul. I think that was the intention anyway. He didn't really have a chance to make a shot. So he'll go to the foul line, shoot 2.
It's Jim Kozakiewicz.
And St. Francis is taking a timeout.
Timeout for St. Francis College.
Timeout here with a little less than 10 minutes to go in the first half. We've had an exciting game. St. Francis 26, the Foresters from Huntington College 17.
Well, Randy?
Tony, let me ask you what you've seen so far in the game. Has the coaches' predictions come true? Are their game plans being worked out or what?
Well, I think the Huntington Foresters are trying to run, but I think they've had some trouble so far. As far as the boards, Huntington has not been able to control the boards quite to the extent that they wanted to. I think the tempo right now is in St. Francis's favor. Jim Holstein is hoping to keep this game into the 70s.
We'd like to remind you that the College Cable Access Program Guide provides information about our programming. To receive your free Channel 6 program guide, send your name, address, and zip code to College Cable Access Center at IPFW, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805-1499. Or give us a call at 481-6582. Teams are returning to the floor after the timeout. We're in the championship game here at IPFW's tip-off tournament. St. Francis College Cougars, coached by Jim Holstein, against the Huntington College Foresters, coached by Lynn Plett. And we didn't expect either team to be in this championship game when this tournament was laid out. But Cinderella came to the ball, and they're both here tonight trying to wear those glass shoes, or whatever that story did.
Well, we have 2 stories going on here. We have Jim Holstein, a 34-year veteran, against Lynn Plett in his 2nd year as a head coach. And I think that both teams should be very proud to be here in the championship game of the Sertoma IPFW Tip-Off Classic. Here's the second shot up. He missed it. Larry Land, the rebound.
Well, if Larry has the flu, he's sure not showing it because he's playing a hard game so far tonight since he's come in since Mike Bowen, number 15, was injured with an ankle problem.
In for the Cougars, number 3, Mike Reinbold, who saw some action last night. Also, number 25, Joe Maheron. Here's Kozakiewicz up and in. win.
Cozy.
28-18, St. Francis, 9:30 to go in the first half.
I think that's Cozy's first 2 points of the season, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Fourth game here. And Neff drives in, misses the layup, crashed the boards. Maharon on the boards, controls, back to Land. Land brings it down, sets the offense.
We'll see if they can go through the 4 touches. There's one.
Mike Reinbold here on the left wing. Back to Maharon. They're overloading this side, their swing offense. Huntington in the man-to-man. Tough man-to-man, a lot of grabbing, a lot of holding. And a turnover by St. Francis College. Land's not happy. He got mugged on that one, and the referee stood there and let it happen. I guess they're going to let him
was
play.
off the bench, too.
They're going to let him play tonight. This is a championship game, so there's going to be some bumping.
In for St. Francis, number 34 about to check in, seeing his first action, John Miller, a 6'6" sophomore.
And Jeff Miller, number 33, is in for the Foresters. Smith from about 17 feet. Long rebound controlled by Maharon. Brings the ball down. St. Francis works their offense on the near side. Out to Reinbold. They're going to have to count on Reinbold tonight now with Bowen injured, Tony. Kozakiewicz, rebound, and good.
That's 4 for Cozy. Jim Holstein has to be pleased with Jim Kozakiewicz off the bench.
St. Francis has extended their lead. It's the largest of the game. 12 points, 30 for St. Francis, 18 for Huntington, 8:10 left in the first half. So far, St. Francis has controlled the tempo. There hasn't been the fast break running from Huntington. And Tony, I think Huntington might be a little flat from last night. They were not expected to beat IPFW. IPFW certainly didn't expect to get beaten. And I think last night could have been their championship game. I don't know. They showed a lot of heart last night, especially when they had a lead and lost it and then came back to win.
It's still early, Randy, but you're absolutely right. They put an exceptional effort together to upset IPFW's Mastodons 103-93 last night. But we have a lot of time to go, so let's wait and see what happens.
Todd Galloway picked up that last foul for the Cougars. That was his first. No, neither team is in the bonus situation. Neff on the drive is fouled.
And I think it could make a big difference. That matchup, Scott Neff and Brett Norris, who's not in there right now. Jim Holstein's given him a breather, so he's got basically the second team in there.
Moonshot, short. Last night, number 11 for Huntington, David Nichols, was bombing those things in the first half with regularity. Tonight, I've seen him only maybe shoot twice.
The turnover, St. Francis, and here comes Neff with a fast break. Cougars back on defense.
Land controls the drive, takes it in, challenges Neff, and scores.
That's Larry Land.
Good move by Larry. He was under control. He took a hesitation step, didn't get out of control, let Neff go by and put in the layup.
It's his first 2 for tonight, Randy.
14-point lead and a reach foul on John Miller. His first. Team 7th.
32-18, St. Francis College, 7:19 to go in the first half. The Cougars have 17 fouls right now, and the Foresters of Huntington College have 5 team fouls.
Scott Neff will be shooting the 1-and-1. Last night, the Cougars benefited against Indiana Tech from getting in the bonus with more than 10 minutes to go in the first half. They shot 60 more free throws in the first half than did Indiana Tech, and that kept them in the ball game until they got it together and put it away in the second half. My correction.
Jeff Miller.
All right, Scott Neff is not shooting a foul shots. It's Jeff Miller. He hits the first one.
Jeff's a 6'4" freshman from Middlebury, Indiana.
And he's 12-point lead for the Cougars over the Foresters. We're here at IPFW. Tip-off tournament championship game. Drive down the baseline. Yes, indeed.
Joe Maharon.
Excellent move. Fake by Nichols. Off the glass. You don't see that much anymore. Well, John Wooden used to teach those. Easy shot off the glass from the wing. Back to 12. St. Francis with a 12-point lead. And 2.
Joe Maharon again.
Joe's picking up the pace.
Jim Holstein thinks Joe Maharon may have the most raw talent on the entire St. Francis Cougar team.
Oh, around and out. Smith gets a follow and puts it in. That ruins your shooting percentage, but your point still gets some points. He was 50% for that one, but that's a
36-24, St. Francis.
And walk. Larry Land travels.
That's a freshman mistake, Randy.
Well, he got down there in 3 people. He's out of control. Just as soon as we say nice things about him, he gets a little crazy, but that's okay. No problem.
Well, here comes the big man, Sebastian Onyango, back in the game. He's going to be matched up with John Miller, which should be quite a matchup. Also back in the game for St. Francis, number 35, Brett Norris, and number 20, John Tudor.
St. Francis still in the man-to-man defense, trying to deny the pass to Onyango in the middle. You know, Tony, Onyango was out of the game, and not to say anything derogatory about him, but I didn't notice he was missing, and I think that was because he hasn't done much so far in this game. He made a couple of 3 layups, but he missed a lot of easy ones from like 6 feet and in. And Coach Holstein said at the beginning of the game that he couldn't shoot much farther out than 6 feet. Now, that's proving true right now.
Well, they're going to challenge him right now. He's 4 for 8 from the field.
Brett Norris drives, kicks out to Tudor, back to Norris. Set the offense again. They're overloading on the far side of the court. Swing it back around. Moon shot.
Yes, sir. Joe Maheron.
Maheron's hot. Smith's loose underneath and gets the easy layup. Somebody missed an assignment there.
39-26, St. Francis, 5:39 to go, first half.
And Coach Holstein's not happy about that. He's mad at John Tudor. I think that's John Tudor's assignment on Smith, and he missed that one. Good fake.
Joe Maheron again.
Well, in the last 3 minutes, it's Joe Maheron 10 and Huntington 4. Maheron's picking up the pace and carrying the ball for St. Francis. Good defense being played by the Cougars. Notice now, turnovers are marginal now, Tony. They weren't. They were turning the ball over very early in the game, and they both settled down there. They're playing some good hard basketball.
St. Francis has 7 turnovers right now, and Huntington has 6, Randy.
Well, St. Francis had 5 turnovers with about 3 minutes gone in the first half. Shot by Neff, way off the mark. Rebound to Clafford, kicks it out to Norris. It's 3 on 2.
Here comes that
3 on 3.
Break.
Missed it. Rebound. Foul. Over the back. Todd Galloway will go to the line to shoot these. Should get 2. Check who the foul's on. There's a lot of bodies flying around down there.
Matt Holman, his second, the team's 6.
Matt Holman picks up the foul. That's his first.
He's a 6'3". Junior, he's from Lima, Ohio. Todd Galloway's junior also. He's from DeMont, Indiana. He also plays baseball for St. Francis.
Marty Hale comes into the game for the Foresters. He'll play guard. Cougars are ahead by 15. Make that 16.
Those are Galloway's first points of the season.
Galloway's a junior. He's one of the few veterans on the St. Francis College team this season. He misses the second one. St. Francis 42, Huntington's 26. There's a little less than 5 minutes to go in this first half.
Both these teams are really young, Randy.
Norris controls the rebound, takes the break, kicks it down to Maheron, throws up nothing, followed by number 40.
That's 6 for Tudor, Randy. 44-26.
20. Tudor followed that up. Huntington's getting the shots they want. They're not going down. They drive it in, kick it back out. Long one, missed, follow, no. New with the rebound, little hook shot, the right hand puts it in.
Rob New.
David Nichols is not doing what he did last night against IPFW for the Foresters. Neither is Scott Neff. They're both missing from the outside. Norris takes it to the baseline, gets the 4-footer. Well, we're at the biggest lead we've had this game. It's an 18-point lead now, 46-28 in favor of the Cougars. And Huntington still looking for the same offense they had.
Rebound to Clafter.
Norris brings the ball up. St. Francis looks like they're going to set the offense up. They turn it back, wasn't there. Free one wasn't there. Work the offense, take some time off. St. Francis looks in control so far. Old Plywood hands in there on that pass. You can hear it smack over here. Boom! Well, I have to get Dan a little firm grip there.
For Huntington, 44 there, block.
Jim Holstein's up off the bench. He's also going to send in the freshman Larry Land as he replaces Joe Maheron. Joe Maheron, for the 4 or 5 minutes that he was in there, Randy, really ignited the Cougars as he picked up 9 points.
If you just tuned in, we're at IPFW, the championship game, the tip-off tournament. I'm Randy Yoder, along with my partner Tony Davis, calling the game here between the St. Francis Cougars and the Huntington Foresters. St. Francis is in the lead, 46-28. Fairly close game till about halfway through the half, and St. Francis has been slowly pulling away. Both teams have been playing man-to-man defense, trying to work the ball in the middle. Huntington's shot terribly from the floor. Their field goal percentage is awful, and they've been taking really silly shots like that last one. Land challenges and scores. There's a three-point opportunity.
That's
foul on David Nichols.
48-28, a 20-point lead for St. Francis.
Tony, while we have a chance here, we'd like to tell everybody, as soon as we find out the extent of Mike Bowen's injury, he went down at about 12 minutes to go in the first half on a drive under the basket. They took him off, they carried him off the floor. It looks like he badly damaged an ankle. We'll find out the extent of that injury and let you know here as soon as we can
We
get
sure
that
will,
information.
Randy. Mike Bowen's a very intricate part of the team, and he's a really great kid around campus.
Well, Tony, Larry Land, the best foul shooter so far this season for St. Francis, is 0 for 3 tonight, and all 3 of his foul shots have gone off the back of the rim.
I think Larry, as Jim Holstein mentioned to you and me, is probably feeling a little bit of the effects of the flu. There's a Yango on the inside. Sure. Norris with the rebound.
Jump ball.
Jump ball.
St. Francis has control. Alternate possession. St. Francis College gets this one. So no damage done.
Very different kind of game than we saw last night, Randy, where Huntington ran up and down. You can see that St. Francis walking the ball up the court. 2:08 to go in the first half. Dan Kowicki back in for St. Francis.
Norris on the drive, out of control, charging. He's not happy with that, but when you go into 3 guys and you're out, even if you look like you're out of control, the referee's going to anticipate that foul and call it every time.
That's his second foul, Randy.
And we'll go down to the other end of the floor for 1-1. Both teams in the bonus situation now. There's 1:57 seconds left in the first half. St. Francis College and Huntington College in the final championship game here at the IPFW tip-off tournament. St. Francis College is ahead right now by 20, 48-28.
And that's a surprise too, Randy. Joe Maheron in for Brett Norris. Jim Holstein's going to sit Brett down.
Should play second.
Mike Bowen, number 15, has sprained his ankle. We don't know how severe it is, but I don't expect to see him back tonight. He looked like he was in a lot of pain.
Our spotter, Brett Richendaler, just went down and checked on him, and Mike may be back in the second half. Right now it's a sprained ankle. We're not sure, but there's a good possibility. They've got him in the dressing room now, Randy. We'll see.
If St. Francis keeps the tempo of the game the way it is now, they probably won't need him because they seem to be in control without him. They've extended this lead, and not to say anything bad about Mike because he's an excellent ball player, but once he went down, St. Francis started to pull away. Kowicki in the corner, back out to the top. Tudor control, back to Kowicki. On the wing, drives baseline. Foul on 44. Darren Blocklinger picks up his, what's the second foul?
It's his third, Randy. Dan Kowicki, the 80% free throw shooter for St. Francis. He's had the most attempts all season. Dan has shot over 20 free throws in the 3 games that St. Francis has played this year. The Cougars come in here 1-2, and Huntington off the 103-93 upset of IPFW is 1-0 right now. Here's his first shot.
Somebody in the lane too soon. Lane violation on. Yes, the lane violation was on Yango. So Kowicki will get another chance, and that doesn't hurt your free throw percentage very much. Easy for me to say. And he makes good with the opportunity. St. Francis is up by 19. 1:31 to go here in the first half of this championship game at the tip-off tournament at IPFW.
That's 3 for Kowicki off of last night's performance. He's up with the second. Here it is. And it's good. It's 50-30, 131 left in the first half. St. Francis College and the Huntington Foresters, IPFW. Tony Davis along with Randy Yoder. Good to be here. Our spotter, Brett Richendahl. We're excited about
14-footer off the back of the iron. And a foul called on Larry Land. I think it's on Larry. He's not looking very happy about it. And Foresters will go to the line 1-1. Number 11, David Nichols. We haven't heard anything from Nichols tonight. Last night he lit up the board with those moonshots, those three-point plays, and that was very effective in keeping him in the game in the first half with IPFW.
He had 18 last night, Randy, and so far tonight he has 2 points.
Well, he has a chance to double his production here if he can convert both of these. And short.
Clapter did a good job blocking out. That's what Jim Holstein wants.
Huntington.
Larry Land is going to probably try to let the air out of it here and see if they can't pass it around.
Moonshot off the side of the iron. Rebound off on Yango. Nope, off of Blue. Sorry, my mistake. I thought that they were going to give it to St. Francis.
And Jim Holstein is not happy. He wanted them to pass the ball around quick. He took that three-pointer. And I think Todd Galloway is going to come in and spell Dan Kowicki.
Oh, stolen by St. Francis. Land kicks it around. Can control. Feet underneath. Looks like a volleyball game down there right now, and the foul ends up on Clapter.
That's Clapter's second, Brandy, and I suspect that Jim Holstein may get him out of there, too.
Well, there's 45 seconds left in this game, so after this foul shot attempt by 11, David Nichols, if St. Francis gets the rebound or if the free throws are converted, they can play for the last shot in the half.
Absolutely. Jim Kozakiewicz is in for Dan Clapter, and Holstein's going to sit Clapter down and say, you sit down there, guy, and we're going to have you in the second half.
With this much time in the first half, you don't want to get the third one.
Absolutely.
Another short one. Nichols doesn't understand. He's not following through with his shot like I saw him last night. He looks a little hesitant here tonight. Said the second one was worse than the first one. He is just way off. Huntington's shooting percentage has got to be down in the 30s.
They are really tight, Randy. They are not playing the same way they played last night.
Well, I think they're still recovering from that big win last night, but we'll see. This is when Coach Plett gets to do the halftime speech as Huntington steals the ball and saved by
good defense. St. Francis College, Jim Kozakiewicz, number 51. He's a sophomore from South Bend, Indiana. 25 seconds to go in the first half.
I don't know what that was, but it worked out for Smith. He got the ball back. I think he was trying to do the lob pass on Yango. Didn't work. Yango with the rebound. Controlled by St. Francis. 14 seconds to go in the game. Cleared out. John Tudor, 2-on-2. Takes it in. Oh, missed the shot. Goes around the rim.
Larry Land.
Foul. David Nichols on the foul. But did I miscall that? Larry had that in there?
It was halfway down and came back out, Randy.
Well, St. Francis can extend their lead beyond 20 points for the first time.
He's 0 for 4, Randy.
And every shot's missed the same way, right off the back of the rim.
He's a freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio, and
step back
he's getting his orientation under fire. I'm sure Jim Holstein will talk to him at halftime. Here's the second one. It's up and in.
21-point lead for St. Francis. 7 seconds to go in the half. And they're not paying much attention. Nichols does not know, throws up a hope, and he missed. Well, that's the end of the first half. St. Francis College Cougars 51, Huntington College Foresters 30. Well, while Tony gives you some quick statistics here before we go to our video piece here at the half, trying to recap the first half for you if you're just joining us. St. Francis College and Huntington College were not expected to be in this game tonight. They were expected to play in a consolation game when the tournament draw was first made. Instead, they're in the championship game as Huntington last night defeated IPFW and St. Francis College defeated Indiana Tech. Both teams are trying to execute the best they can. Huntington wants to play an up-tempo game, but in this first half they've shot very poorly from the field and from the foul line as well. We'll get to those statistics in a minute. Meanwhile, St. Francis College, when I talked to Coach Holstein last night after the game and tonight before the game, he wanted to keep this game around the 70-point range, but already St. Francis College has got 51. So, Tony, I guess he meant to me that he wanted to keep Huntington around 70, because if they keep going this way, St. Francis is going to be around the 90-point, 100-point mark.
This is certainly a surprise to me. Jim Holstein told us that he did want to control the tempo. He would run if he had the opportunity to run, and he certainly had that opportunity to run. His guys have done an excellent job blocking Onyango off the boards tonight, and that was one of the keys. Holding Onyango off the boards for those offensive rebounds, getting it out, taking the break if they had the break, and if not, backing it out. One statistic I have been able to keep is our spotter and our statistician, Brett Richendoller's scrambling, as I was last night, was we had 8 times we had the 4-touch, and we scored 6 out of those 8 times in the first half, Randy, and that was a key for St. Francis. Looking down here real quickly, Mike Bowen, while he was in there, scored 2 points. He was 1 for 2. John Tudor had 6 points, and he was 3 for 3. Joe Maheron picked up 3 fielders and a 3-pointer in the first half. Dan Kowicki had a field goal and a couple of free throws. Larry Land had 2 field goals and a free throw. He was 1 for 5 from the charity stripe. Brett Norris picked up 1, 2, 6 fielders and 2 3-pointers, 2 for 3 from the 3-point range, and he's picking it up a little bit for the St. Francis Cougars. Jim Kozakiewicz came in there and did an excellent job, picked up 2 field goals for 4 points. Todd Galloway had a free throw, and Dan Clafter was 1 for 1. So that's pretty much what we got for the Huntington Foresters. Looking down here, number 3, Mr. Hale, didn't score in the first half. New had 2 points. He was 1 for 2. Jeff Nichols had a 2-pointer. Mr. Neff had 6 points. Mr. Smith had 6 points, and Mr. Onyango, Sebastian Onyango, was 4 for 8 from the field for 8 points. So 51-30, St. Francis over the Huntington Foresters in the first half, Randy.
Okay, Tony. Right now, College Access Channel 6 would like to give you a little halftime feature. This video is called A Commitment to Excellence, and we'll throw that back to the truck right now and for your enjoyment.
Let's do that, Randy.
From the shores of Lake Michigan to the banks of the Ohio River, Indiana is a place filled with tradition, achievement, and promise. Those characteristics are also reflected in the state's colleges and universities, in the quality of Indiana's system of higher education. But a shadow is moving over our campuses, and unless we move quickly, that shadow could become a dark cloud hanging over the state for many years. In an unprecedented move, the presidents of Ball State, Indiana State, Indiana University, Ivy Tech, Purdue, Southern Indiana, and Vincennes University have joined forces to sound a call for action.
We are calling for a commitment to quality for Indiana higher education. It must be a statewide effort, unified, coordinated, cooperative. Each of the state's 7 public institutions faces similar concerns, and the solutions are similar for each.
Indiana higher education. For many Hoosiers, it evokes a sense of pride and security, knowing that higher education contributes to our growth and prosperity. But the institutions themselves must focus on the demands of the future instead of their present accomplishments. The leaders of our colleges and universities have outlined several issues that must be addressed. If left unattended, they will affect the success of higher education in Indiana.
The time has passed when a college or university can be all things to all people. Through foresight and planning, Indiana's colleges and universities have developed distinct and yet compatible missions. Thus, we have an efficient and coordinated system of higher education.
The people of Indiana need not look outside the state for quality higher education. Our institutions offer top-ranked undergraduate study in both 2-year and 4-year programs, excellent graduate education and research facilities, and job and technical training. While a variety of degree choices are available at every school, each institution has several specialties, some of which are recognized worldwide.
Increasing the quality of our workforce encourages new businesses to locate in Indiana. College graduates hold a competitive advantage in the labor market. They make more money in their lifetime, and as a group they experience higher employment rates.
1/3 of Indiana citizens between the ages of 18 and 24 go to college. While this percentage is higher than in the past, it is still below the national average. Consequently, other states can offer a better educated workforce to attract business. The solution is to encourage more Hoosiers to go to college. We must provide access for all, with special emphasis on attracting minority and non-traditional students. Out of this class of high school students, only these will go to college. Many of the others will have the skills to further their education, and we must help them to take advantage of the opportunities.
But it's not enough just to encourage young people to continue their studies beyond high school. We must also do more to ensure they are successful in college. If their goal is an academic degree, we must ensure they have every opportunity to graduate.
Indiana has an investment in every student from the day he or she begins kindergarten. It is important that our students finish college because college graduates earn more money and contribute more to the state's economic stability. Of these college freshmen, only these will graduate with a degree. We must focus our efforts on retaining students and assuring the best possible opportunity for them in the job market.
Indiana's public institutions are at a severe disadvantage compared to our peers nationally and in neighboring states. It is difficult to retain and attract top-notch professors. Far too frequently, our faculty members leave us for higher salaries at other institutions. That has to stop if we hope to maintain high quality in our institutions.
The quality of higher education depends upon the quality of the teachers in the classroom. But there's a high demand for qualified professors in many fields and a shrinking pool of available talent. In the next 10 years, 70% of our current faculty will retire or leave Indiana. Our 7 institutions are competing with over 3,400 colleges and universities nationwide for the best talent. To maintain quality in the classroom, we must offer competitive salaries.
We also live in a global economy. With the opening of new markets in Eastern Europe, businesses need to be competitive on an international level. The only way Indiana can compete is to provide graduates with the skills needed in the world marketplace.
The world is becoming a smaller place, and Indiana businesses must look outside our borders to overseas markets. Our state currently trades with every country in the world, and the volume of trading will continue to increase in the future, accounting for a substantial change in business strategies. Higher education is the key to preparing Hoosiers to compete in a global economy.
During the last 20 years, the national economy has changed from one based on heavy manufacturing to service industries. That has hit Indiana hard. Higher education is the way to provide the educated workers who will attract new industries and enable our current industries to remain in Indiana.
Jobs requiring training beyond high school are on the rise. It's important that higher education look to the future and prepare workers today for jobs tomorrow. We must have the facilities and the people to teach students how to use technology. The only way business and industry can succeed in the future is if higher education provides the skilled employees. Indiana is blessed with a strong system of higher education. Currently, Hoosiers need not look outside the state to find a quality school to fit their needs. But there are changing trends and growing problems which we must address now to ensure success in the future. Our 7 public institutions are united in calling for a commitment to quality. The system of higher education we have today was charted 20 years ago. The question now is what kind of university these Hoosiers will attend. The choice is up to us.
I'm Ira Epstein, your host of Stocks, Options, and Futures, inviting you to join me every week for my guests. Now, we've shown shows on baseball cards, the stock market, the options market. We've taught you charting on the marketplace. We've done computer reviews. We're always looking for something different. We want you to tune in because if the world's investment, we're going to cover it. Stocks, Options, and Futures each week here. Be sure to tune in.
Video Magazine, an entertaining and informative look into the world we all share.
Everyone wants to be on a team. Everyone wants to win. But you can't be a winner if you can't stand on your own and say no to drugs. There's strength in numbers as long as the friends you choose are drug-free.
When you say no to drugs, you're a winner. You can be on my team anytime.
Dare to be a standout. Dare to say no to drugs.
This message brought to you by College Access, Channel 6.
The power of teaching.
Colleges and universities in Fort Wayne and the surrounding areas are recruiting minority students. Consider a career in teaching. Contact the School of Education at the college of your choice and ask for information about scholarships for minority students. Make a difference. Reach for the power of teaching.
For more information about financial aid or scholarships for minorities interested in teaching careers, please call the School of Education at IPFW, 219-481-6441.
We're back at the second half. St. Francis College versus Huntington College. We're at the IPFW Tip-Off Tournament Championship game. And St. Francis College stole the ball from Huntington. There's a jump ball. That should go to Huntington, I think, on the alternate possession. Well, that's what I know. They had a jump ball I didn't know about. It'll go to St. Francis.
I think one telling statistic for the first half, Randy, was the shooting percentage. St. Francis 22 out of 33, 67%, and Huntington 12 out of 38, 32%. I think that says it all. Larry Land inside, there's two. St. Francis extends their lead to 23 points, 53 to 30.
This is Randy Yoder calling the game along with my partner, Tony Davis, the Sports Information Director of St. Francis College. It's the championship game, the Tip-Off Classic. In the consolation game, IPFW defeated Indiana Tech by a score of 86-76. So they took consolation game in third place. This game now is 53-30, favors St. Francis College. And the Huntington Foresters are in white with green and red trim. And they just threw the ball out of bounds and out in the parking lot. St. Francis College in the blue uniforms with the white trim. They'll take the ball out and bring it up the floor.
That's their second turnover of the first half, and they had 6 in the first half, unofficially, Randy.
Second turnover in the second half, I think.
Correct.
I don't know what, it's a set, whatever, we're here.
Yeah.
We got in a little late, and we're trying to catch you up here. We're just into the game. It's a minute and a half into the second half. St. Francis misses. Onyango takes the rebound down. Scott Neff, number 22. Let's try and get the starting lineups here for you. For Huntington in the second half, number 22, Scott Neff. Number 11 is David Nichols. Number 10 is Rob New. Number 55, the big man underneath, Sebastian Onyango. And number 3 is Marty Hale. We'll give you St. Francis's lineup as soon as they get on offense. Huntington has the ball. They're setting up their offense. Tony, I think coaches at halftime, Jim Holstein pretty much told to St. Francis this game's not over. Moonshot for 3, and that's something that Huntington did not do in the first half. Scott Neff makes a 3 and cuts the lead back to 20.
He had a couple last night too, Randy, and they were very cold in the first half. Maybe they'll warm up a little bit. At least Forester fans hope so.
We'll set the lineup now for St. Francis. Number 31 with the ball, Dan Klawicki drives in. Little hard off the glass, rebound by Onyango. We'll get that starting lineup for St. Francis to you. Number 54, Dan Clafter, he's in the center. Stolen by Klawicki. Down the floor against New, and he travels. He traveled. Oh.
I think Jim Holstein is going to want his Cougars to pass that ball around, to take the lady that got you there, Randy.
Well, they had the fast break. He just made a silly mistake. He thought Amtrak still ran out of Fort Wayne. He had a ticket, and he didn't need it. Okay, let's set the starting team and the man-to-man defense for St. Francis. Finish that up. Number 20 is John Tudor. Number 35, Brett Norris. Number 31, again, Dan Klawicki. Number 33, Larry Land. And number 20, John Tudor. And I think that about sets it. There's a pretty bad shot taken there by Scott Neff. He's looking more for the foul than anything else. Turnover to St. Francis College.
There's no call. And in for Huntington, number 40, that's Matt Holman, who started last night, didn't start tonight. But he's in the lineup now for the Foresters of Huntington as Larry Land brings it down the center.
I'm sure Coach Lynn Plett of Huntington told his team, look, we're down 20. We can't get it all back at once. You just got to go out, play solid, get a couple of points, work the score down, and we'll try and catch them at the end. Intentional foul called on Dan Klawicki. David Nichols was driving in, and intentional foul called on Klawicki, so it'll be an automatic 2.
That brings Jim Holstein up off the bench, and he'll have something to say to Klawicki.
And on the intentional foul, Nichols gets the first one. He will make both of them, and now Huntington will get the ball back on the intentional foul. They'll take it out underneath their basket on the far side of the court.
You know, there's a lot of time left, Randy. They're 16:53. It's 53-35, St. Francis, but this game is far from over. Especially the way Huntington can run up and down the court.
Well, if they start hitting those outside shots from the three-point line, they can get back in this game in a hurry. St. Francis in the man-to-man. Marty Hale banks it off the glass, driving to his left. Cuts the lead to 16. St. Francis ahead by 16. Bringing the ball down, set up the offense. Now, I'm sure right now what Holstein wants their Cougars to do is work the ball around, not dribble like Tudor's doing right now. The foul on Onyango.
I know it might have been David Nichols. I'm not sure, Randy. Let's see.
Hey, I got one right. I got one right.
That's Onyango's second foul, Randy.
Gosh, I'm going to ask a raise for Bernie. I got one right. St. Francis takes the ball out on the baseline, gets it into land, takes it back out, drives in the middle. He doesn't know where he's at, but he gets fouled anyway. Didn't know really what to do with it, and he lucked out. He got hacked on the shot. He was in big tree country, and that's not where you want to go.
Land had some problems on the free throw line in the first half, Randy. He was 1 for 5. He had a great game last night, came in, scored 12 points. He's a freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio. Jim Holstein looked for big things from Larry Land in the future.
Well, Huntington's reduced the lead from 21 to 16 points, and St. Francis needs to get that one right there to stop that little hemorrhage. It stabilizes to 18 points and let the clock work for them. What St. Francis has not done is what they did in the first half is come down and work the ball, look for the good shot. They've really been pounding the ball on the floor.
An offensive rebound, Dan Kowicki.
Good rebound and takes it in. The foul on 55. Onyango.
And we're going to have a substitution, Randy, back in the game for the Foresters.
James Smith.
James Smith had a good first half. Played well last night.
Third foul on Onyango. And he hasn't done much tonight. Last night he was a force underneath of the IPFW game, and tonight he hasn't done much. His shooting's been off, and he really hasn't been that effective on the boards.
And Kowicki misses the left-handed shot. We remain 57-34. 16-16 to go in the first half.
Second half.
Second half.
I'm going to correct you any chance I get after last night.
Absolutely.
Think you know everything. I tell you.
Here's the second one.
He splits the pair. Kowicki now puts the lead back to 18 for the Cougars. The Foresters down the floor. New has the ball, number 10, passes it down to the wing. Drives the baseline, cut off well by Tudor. For those of you that are St. Francis fans or
alumni,
interested supporters, we'd like to let you know that Mike Bowen went down, number 15, guard for St. Francis, with an ankle sprain in the first half. And he'll be okay. I don't think we'll see him the rest of this game. St. Francis now a 16-point lead. They're working the ball just like Coach Holstein wants them to. Pass the ball around and everybody touch it, move it around, skip pass across the top. Kowicki throws up an unadvised shot. Rebound by Smith, clears it out to Hale. Followed by Nichols for 2.
Jim Holstein's going to take a timeout right here, and he's going to talk to the St. Francis Cougars as Huntington's Foresters have cut into this lead, and now it's 55-41. Something we might want to pass along, Randy, for the St. Francis alumni. The women in their tournament down in Huntington, first in the winners bracket, Huntington over Taylor today, so they won their own tournament. And in the consolation game, St. Francis a winner over North Manchester, and St. Francis junior Jane Post was named the most valuable player of the ladies tournament. And Jim Holstein does have quite a good ladies program at St. Francis College.
And Tony, we'll be interviewing Jane Post on the Cougar Pride Show that can be seen on Public Access Channel 10 and College Access Channel 6. And that'll be seen next Friday.
15-14 to go in the second half. Randy, 55-41. St. Francis over Huntington's Foresters. Tony Davis and Randy Yoder, along with our spotter, Brett Richendaler. Well, Huntington has cut into that lead, so we'll see what Jim Holstein has said to his charges to get them to hang on to the ball and pass it. They haven't used the 4 touches at all this second half as of yet, Randy.
Marty Hill gets his hands on the ball, knocks away from Norris, out of bounds. St. Francis will take control. 34 seconds on the shot clock. Neither team in foul trouble in the second half. We're at the 15-minute mark. St. Francis ahead by 14, 55-41.
There's somebody who's been really quiet.
The ball around now.
Norris.
I don't think they could stand the prosperity they had in the first half. And they can't afford to let Huntington come back and get the momentum. And there's a jump ball called. Dan Clafter tied up by... I missed that. Did you see who he was in the jump ball with, Tony?
It was number 33, Jeff Miller.
Okay. And Huntington will get the ball in the alternate possession. Bank shot by Nichols.
Dave Nichols, he's starting to heat up, Randy.
And the lead's down to 12. St. Francis College needs a basket here. Brett Norris wants to take control and throws up one, forces one, but draws the foul. They've got Norris now down at the low post, Tony, working against the Huntington Foresters, and since Onyango's on the bench right now with 3 fouls, St. Francis is going to try and take it down and go to the foul line. They haven't been too successful here in the second half, the foul line. Last night they shot well in the game against Indiana Tech, and in the first half they did reasonably well. The second half, they've been to the line a couple times and haven't converted very well.
Last night, both these teams shot very well from the free throw line. St. Francis converted 33 free throws, which was essential in that upset win over Indiana Tech, and Huntington scored 29 free throws in their upset over IPFW.
Norris makes the first of the pair.
IPFW winners in the first game of tonight over Indiana Tech by an 86-76 count.
And Norris makes the pair. Puts it back up to 14. St. Francis ahead of Huntington, 57-43. 14 and a half minutes to go in the second half. This championship game here at the tip-off tournament at IPFW. Huntington Cougars, the home team in the white, have the ball. They're working their offense. St. Francis in the blue. And there's a foul on the drive as New takes it to the hoop. It's a matter on that one, Tony, whether they're going to call the foul. Whether they're going to call the foul on Kowicki, or they're going to call the travel on New, because he carried that ball after that first dribble up around his ears.
It was a close call.
He did it there again. Short on that shot. Smith follows with the tip
in.
And it looks like Huntington's come to play this second half. They must have got a good tongue lashing.
They're an emotional team, Randy.
St. Francis running the offense. Norris takes it down. Throws up one. Tip. No good. Rebound. Larry Land. Fouled by Rob New. St. Francis is not running the offense the way they did. I don't know if it's because they're just shook up or it's because Huntington's putting more pressure on them than they did in the first half.
Well, I think it's something we said last night. They could be playing not to lose rather than to win, Randy, and I'm sure that's not what Jim Holstein and his coaching staff wants.
Backdoor, nice pass. Assist to Brett Norris, out of bounds to Larry Land. Puts the score back to 14. Lead to 14 for the Cougars over the Foresters. Huntington with the ball. David Nichols over to Marty Hale. Back to Nichols. Moonshot, 3. They can't let him do that.
David Nichols heating up in the second half, Randy.
Nichols hits those. St. Francis is in trouble.
So 11-point Cougar lead.
I think St. Francis is now going to look to Klowicki and to Norris for leadership. There's a moonshot. It's short. Off the iron. Rebound to New.
They put it back into single digits if they score here, Randy.
Huntington working their offense, looking for the good shot. It wouldn't surprise me if they could get the 3. They're going to take it. Smith fouled on the shot. Call on Brett Norris, number 35.
That's 3 on Brett Norris, and that's one person Jim Holstein cannot afford to have on the bench as the Foresters start closing in.
And James Smith will shoot 2. Smith is from New Albany, Indiana. He's a freshman, 6'4", 190 pounds. Makes the first one.
And he certainly meant something to this team this afternoon, Randy, or this evening. Joe Maheron in for Brett Norris.
And when Joe Maheron came into the first half, Tony, he keyed the St. Francis College to that 20-point lead. And Coach Holstein's looking for that right now. It's now a 9-point lead. This is the first time that Huntington's had been under 10 points in about 12 minutes of this game. So they're closing the gap. They've come back from a 21-point deficit. And there's an air ball shot up by Tudor. Huntington on the break, down the floor. Off the iron rebound, Plewicki. Control stolen by Smith and taken up and in by number 40, Matt Holman. And St. Francis has only got a 7-point lead. And they're
Jim
in
Holstein
trouble.
is beside himself.
Foul on Smith. Reach foul on the drive.
That's his second.
St. Francis mass substitutions here. Mike Reinbold coming into the game along with Todd Galloway. Holstein trying to look for a combination to settle down, stabilize his team, get him to work the offense, and hold that lead.
Well, I would say momentum has certainly shifted to the side of the Huntington Foresters here in the second half, Randy.
St. Francis takes the ball out of bounds on the side. Larry Land throws it to Reinbold. Back to Land. Working the offense on the near side. Land's tripped going through the middle. Fouled. That's team foul number 6 on Huntington. One more than St. Francis will shoot the bonus. Well, the bonus is now. I think, yes, St. Francis will be shooting the bonus now. Larry landed the foul shot, taking the 1-on-1 foul shots. St. Francis needs to start hitting free throws here at the stretch, Tony, because every foul now they can get that free point. Land the lefty, shoots long off the back of the
rim. He's had a horrid night at the free throw line tonight.
Controlled by Nichols. Well, it looks like St. Francis all in the first half, and Huntington with a moonshot. Oh, that was way off. Controlled tip in by Marty Hale.
Marty Hale.
Left-handed, one shot, one-hand control. 5-point lead now for St. Francis College, 59-54. And Coach Holstein's prediction might come true, Tony. This could be a 70-point game. St. Francis sure is not scoring with any kind of regularity at all. Now they overpass that one. They turn the shot down underneath, and Cozy lost the ball. Nichols from Moonland, 3!
Jim Holstein wants a timeout right now, Randy. 59-57, 11-23, second half. 20-point deficit.
Well, we had a 21-point deficit at the half, and they've closed to 18 of them now, so they're just down by 2, or make that by 19. So St. Francis College here with 11:23 to go in this game. Scored 8 points so far in the first part of the second half. Huntington's closest to within 2.
Well, some of the things that we talked about are the keys of the game. In the first half, St. Francis was able to control the tempo. They did block out. They didn't give Huntington the second shots. They played defense, and they played good defense on the three-pointers. In the second half, what Huntington's been able to do is control the boards. They've ran an up-tempo game, and they've mixed up their defenses from that man-to-man and a little bit of match-up zone. As Jim Holstein's brought in Dan Clafter. He's got John Tudor back in there. Norris is in there along with Kowicki and Maheron. So he's hoping this is the combination that he hopes will work for him. 11:20, second half.
St. Francis needed that badly. Dan Clafter missed the first shot, followed up with a strong rebound off the glass, and he's got a chance for a three-point play. And Tony, I can't emphasize enough, St. Francis has got to hit foul shots.
Absolutely.
They have got to hit this foul shot.
And I think you might see Coach Platt bring in Mr. Onyango in just a short time.
Well, they've caught up without him. I wouldn't break up the combination. They're running. He's not doing anything. Let him sit. They might ruin the chemistry. We'll see. And there's a three-point play for Clafter. St. Francis back up by 5, 63-57, 11 minutes left in the second half. Well, we're hoping you're enjoying this game. I was beginning to worry, Tony, in the second half we might have to fill with all those statistics and everything you usually have, but I don't think we're going to have to. We've got a nice close game here, and a little too close for me, but I'm a little biased.
But the IPFW
travel. Jeez, did he carry that ball? My, oh my, and he got away with it.
David Nichols heating them up in the second half, 62-59.
Nichols on the drive, got 3.5 steps, but that's good enough. Feed to Norris, takes it inside, and good.
Travel.
Traveling on Brett Norris.
Jim Holstein can't believe it.
Substitutions for Huntington. Onyango's back in the game along with Rob New. Tony, you're right. They're going to put the big man back in now.
Yeah, they've got some big boys underneath now. Onyango 6'7", 220, and New 6'6", 200-pounder. 62-59. 10:34, second half.
Jeff Miller and David Nichols sit down for the Foresters.
Scott Neff back in there also, and he hadn't been in for a while, Randy.
St. Francis playing man-to-man. That ball went off of Smith, and St. Francis got called with that, so Huntington will take it out underneath. New will.
Larry Land in for John Toder.
3-point lead for St. Francis. We're halfway through the second half of this championship game at the IPFW tip-off tournament. Smith with the ball, takes the little 10-footer, rolls off the rim. Rebound controlled by St. Francis.
Dan Clapper on the line.
Is trapped. I've noticed this in the second half, Tony. When St. Francis is getting the rebound, Huntington is putting a three-way or 2 or 3 men on the ball to trap so they can't pass it off. And St. Francis is turning their back and running up the court, not giving any help. And Dan Clafter's called for the pushing foul underneath before the ball's brought in bounds.
That's 3 on Clafter.
St. Francis is still has 2 fouls to give in the before they're in the bonus. Huntington's already in the bonus situation, or they're in a penalty situation where St. Francis will shoot the bonus.
In for Huntington, number 44, Darren Blocklinger. Darren scored 10 points last night. Had a relatively quiet first half. There's that trap again that you were speaking of, Randy.
Dan Klawicki controls the rebound that time, pass to Norris, who pulls it out, wants to set up the offense. St. Francis needs to work hard here. And a foul called on number 44, Darren Blocklinger. That should be his 4th. If it's on Blocklinger, that's his 4th foul. And 1-and-1 for Brett Norris at the line.
You're right, Randy. And every chance I get to tell you you're right, you know I will.
I don't have any money to give you, Tony, so we're not going to worry about it.
10 minutes exactly to go in the half, 62-59. Very, very important free throws down the stretch.
Well, St. Francis needs everyone they can get, and they blew another front end. Onyango controls the rebound, and Huntington can close to within 1. Maybe tie it on a 3-pointer. Drive by Neff, blocked, out of bounds to St. Francis.
Off Onyango. But a lot of hustle out there, Randy. Kids diving. Coach Lindblad real pleased with his kids diving after the ball. They've made quite a comeback here in the second half. 9:48 to go.
St. Francis needs to run their offense, take some time off the clock, and get a good shot. I haven't seen a good shot from them now in the last 10 minutes. A little out of control. They're nervous. They're getting shaken. Oh, stuffed by Onyango. Leather lunch. And stolen back by
Brett Norris.
Gives the ball to Clafter. Feeds it to Larry Land. Brings the ball up the court. 62-59. The Cougars still in the lead. Foul. Trip by New on the baseline.
Up until that last time down, Randy, that was the first time in 11 minutes that the Cougars actually executed the Holstein offense. 4 touches. Might be one of the reasons why they've a 21-point lead has shrunken to 62-59. 9:14 to go, second half.
You know, I play golf with Coach Holstein. He laughs because he's about ready to retire. He keeps saying in a couple of years he's ready to retire. And in a game like this, you have a 21-point lead at the end of the first half. You're a little beyond halfway through the second half, and you're almost behind after that. I want to retire. I don't think he needs this. But that's the game.
Well, he's been in the game for 34 years. Has
Kulwicki on the first shot, off the back of the iron, no good.
Cougars having lots of trouble at the free throw line tonight.
How many have they missed now in the second half? They made about 2, I think.
They've missed a good number.
Second shot for Kulwicki. Hits it. Puts it back to a 4-point lead. St. Francis ahead by 4, 63-59. 9 minutes to go in the game.
They're 5 for 10 in the second half free throwing, Randy.
The Foresters have the ball, working their offense. New drives to the middle. Scoop shot off the back of the iron. Tipped by Onyango. And he's over the back, and that's his 4th foul, too. Number 55, Sebastian Onyango, number 4. Well, 2 guys now for Huntington in foul trouble, Onyango and 44, Darren Blocklinger. And those are both 2 of their big men from underneath. Blocklinger's not a starter. He's their 7th man off the bench, I guess.
Dan Clafter at the free throw line, the transfer from Armstrong State. Up and in.
That ball didn't want to go down either. Better talk a little nicer to it there, Danny. Well, we'll see how he does here. If he makes this one, he'll be back up to 6, and St. Francis can't breathe a little easier, but at least they've stopped the rush by the Foresters.
Mr. Onyango going to sit down for a little bit, being replaced
by
James
a much
Smith.
Better
Second
shot.
one's up and in, 65-59, 8:59, second half. I think we ought to compliment one of our sponsors, the Sertoma Club, before Wayne, Randy, for putting on this tournament along with IPFW. They've done a wonderful job.
We'll get to that as soon as we see what happens here with Huntington's possession. Smith underneath to 40, off the glass. He controls it, loose ball, batted around. Kulwicki has the ball stolen by New, knocked away by Clafter. We got a rugby scrub out there. Fumble!
4th and 10.
Well, as soon as they clear up the pile here,
I'm not sure who they're going to call the piling on penalty on, Randy, but it's sure exciting basketball to see the kids out there hustling and running. I think hopefully our officials will do a little cleanup work out there. We don't want to take any chances of our kids
Well, they
getting
call
hurt.
the jump ball, and on the alternate possession, St. Francis will get it. I don't know, number 40 in there, Matt Holman, was really diving for Huntington. I thought they were going to call him for spearing there for a second.
Well, I saw Joe Maheron in that pile. I also saw Dan Kulwicki in that pile, along with number 33, Larry Land. So it's just good hustle. The kids are out there working hard.
The 1990 IPFW Tip-Off Tournament is brought to you in part by the downtown Sertoma Club. I can't read Bernie's writing. I'm sorry. Sertoma once again is involved with the Tip-Off Tourney after a 3-year absence. We welcome them back and look forward to many more successful Tip-Off tourneys. St. Francis, shot by Norris, follows up off the glass. Tip. Huntington throws it back and about to save it. Smith controls and takes it on a fast break.
3 on 1.
And Nichols for the layup.
65-61, 7:54, second half. IPFW, Sertoma Tip-Off Classic. IPFW winners over Indiana Tech, 86-76 in the first game.
Foul on Nichols. That should be his 3rd or 4th.
That's his 3rd, Randy.
Okay, let's quickly set the St. Francis lineup for you, just in case you joined us. Number 33, Larry Land. Number 35 is Brett Norris. Number 54, Dan Claffer. He's the center. Number 25 for the Cougars is Joe Maheron. And number 31, Dan Kulwicki. In there for Huntington right now, we have Rob New, number 10. Number 3 is Marty Hale. Number 45, James Smith, the freshman, as Dan Claffer misses the first shot on his 2-shot free throw. Number 11, again, continuing for Huntington, is David Nichols, and number 40 is Matt Holman. Splits a pair. Clafter 54, splits a pair, makes it a 5-point lead. Cougars in front of the Foresters, 66-61, here in the IPFW Tip-Off Tournament. Championship game.
2 teams who who didn't figure to be here are here, Randy. We've got an exciting game with 7:27 to go in the game.
The Cougars had a 21-point lead at the half, and Huntington's closed it to 5. And the foul called on Dan Kulwicki.
That's 3 on Kulwicki.
The Cougars, number 31, Dan Kulwicki.
Huntington has 2 players in foul trouble with 4. And St. Francis, not really in any foul trouble at this point in the game with 7 minutes to go. They have a couple players with 3. St. Francis College is in the bonus situation for the free throw line. Any other foul, they'll be shooting 2 because they now have 10 fouls on Huntington. Whereas St. Francis has controlled their fouls, and Huntington is not in the bonus as of yet. There's a shot by number 3, Hardy Hale, the left-hander from about 15-foot extended line there. Brings the score back to 3. Cougars ahead with the Foresters by 3.
We have substitution. Jim Kozakiewicz in for Dan Kowicki.
Steal from Kowicki. New carries the ball down the floor, and it's stolen back by 51. Cozy.
Jim Kozakiewicz
steals the ball and gives it to Norris. St. Francis needs a score here. They need to get a good shot. Hammered by Smith. Kowicki goes in the baseline and is hammered over the back. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Tony, I sound like a broken record or a CD player with a warp in it. I don't know which, since they don't make records anymore. And I don't mean to make light of that, but St. Francis can win this game if they hit these free throws.
And
not
they've
these
not
2,
shot
but
well from the line in the second half.
They are going to go to the line for the rest of the game, and if they can make them, they're going to win.
These are important free throws.
2 shots. Kowicki on the first one. Nothing but net.
67-63. Here's the second one, Randy. Up and in.
Good. Substitutions for St. Francis, number 44, Todd Galloway.
And number 22, Scotty Neff back in for Huntington's Forester. Scotty is a local product of Huntington. Jim Holstein said that he talked to Scott, and he narrowed his 2 schools down to St. Francis and Huntington. And he could prove to be a big thorn in the Cougars' side before tonight's over yet. 6:34.
Coach Plett has put in his quick team. These are his best shooters and the ones that want to run up and down the floor. He's going to make his run now with 6 minutes left. He's down by 5. St. Francis in a man-to-man. Backdoor New. It's good. 3-point lead now for the Cougars.
68-65.
There's a turnover. And Huntington will get the ball underneath their own basket. Over and back violation.
First half, Randy. The second half, we still got a lot of time.
Rob New will take the ball out underneath, start the play. Marty Hale, left-handed spin shot, no good, off the hand of Todd Galloway, out of bounds. Todd Galloway, rather. Huntington's ball.
One of the things the Cougars aren't doing as well in the second half is blocking out. And it certainly cost them so far.
Well, there's a turnover real quick for Huntington. Well, the thing that's helped Huntington now, they're hitting their shots. I mean, you wouldn't expect the team that shoots as well as they do to shoot 30-some percent, 32% in the first half, Tony. And they're just coming back to their normal shooting style. They're probably shooting around 50%. St. Francis, who shot in the 60s, is way down now. And the problem with St. Francis, they're not getting shots. It's not that they're missing them. It's just they're turning the ball over, getting blocks, and not really making them. And they're also missing from the free throw line. There's the drive across the rim by Mahara, no good. Huntington with the ball. Scott Neff to New. Back over to Neff. They're looking for that three-point shot. Nichols wants it. Here he throws an elbow and gets away with it. Takes a little 10-foot shot, rolls it in.
Down to a 1-point St. Francis lead.
Well, it's taken Huntington about 15 minutes in this half to close the 21-point lead. They've come back from 21-point lead or 21-point deficit to a 1-point deficit. St. Francis 68, Huntington 67.
St. Francis brought their
Red Norris throws up an air ball. It just barely grazed the rim. He didn't square up. St. Francis looking kind of desperate, Tony. They're looking for somebody. They're like, please go in, and it's not going.
They're not running their offense right now. They have executed the Holstein offense 2 times as far as the 4 touches, the statistics that Brett Richendaler and I have been keeping here in the second half.
And I point to the loss of sophomore Mike Bowen, who went down with an ankle sprain in the first half. The Cougars need him now to settle the offense down and run the point.
Mike's over on the bench, but he's in street clothes.
Joe Maheron passed to Norris, to Klawicki. Looking underneath Norris, he's fouled. No shot before the shot, but he'll still get the 2-shot foul. Then Huntington's in the penalty. They have 11 fouls now, so they're over that magical number.
Here in the second half, Brett just informed me that St. Francis 3 of 15 from the field. That's certainly a big difference from the 22 out of 33 that they shot.
What is that,
in the
about
first half.
20% from the floor?
It's about 20%.
You don't even put your sneakers on to shoot that. You just keep it in the bus.
By golly, Brandy, I think I could even shoot that.
Norris misses the first one. And St. Francis, their foul shooting is about 20% for this half, too.
They have gone cold. Someone put a lid on the basket for him. Here's the second one. It's up and in.
Back to a 2-point lead. 2-point lead for St. Francis, 69-67. We're under 5 minutes to go in this championship game. We're here at IPFW in the Athletic Center. Tip-off tournament stolen by Norris, controlled by Land. 3-on-1. Klawicki missed the shot. Norris picked up the rebound, and he was fouled. Again, St. Francis at the line, 2 shots. They've got to convert.
Right now, St. Francis 11 out of 19 in the second half free throwing.
So little more than 50%, and that's not going to cut it.
That's not going to get it for the Cougars. They shoot 70% as a team.
Make that 11 for 20.
Right at 50%. They shoot 70% as a team, and they need these free throws down the stretch. Here's the second one. It's up and in. It's a 3-point St. Francis lead, 4:39, second half.
Huntington College playing St. Francis College Cougars. The Foresters with the ball. They're in the white, green trim. Nichols from 3-land. No way. Larry Land with a rebound. 3-on-1. Feeds to Norris. Stops, takes the jumper. Good.
Brett Norris.
Now that's the first. That, Tony, is the first fast break St. Francis has executed properly since the first half. They didn't try and force it all the way for the layup.
Cougars. Inside to Onyango.
And fouled by Clafter. Well, Onyango,
on Dan Clafter.
Onyango has not been very effective tonight. This first time he's been to the foul line.
I don't think it's a shooting foul.
No, it wasn't. You're right. There's the timeout.
We got a timeout.
I'm not sure who this is charged to.
That's the Huntington College second-year coach, Lynn Quett. Calls a timeout. 4 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the ball game. St. Francis College up on Huntington's Foresters, 72-67.
We'd like you to tune in to Channel 6 this Sunday evening at 7 p.m. to watch the CLVC Women's Volleyball Tournament consolation match between Lewis University and Bellarmine College. And then at 9 p.m. watch the IPFW Lady Volleydons meet Ashland University in the championship match. That's at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. tomorrow evening, right here on Channel 6. Hey, I'm from around that area. Ashland College, I grew up around there. They used to have an excellent basketball team. Bill Musselman, who's now with the Minnesota Timberwolves, coached there. He stressed a really strong man-to-man defense. When I was a kid, we used to watch them play, and we hated it because the final score would be about 20-12. And this was at a Division III level. But right now, we're back at the Athletic Center here at IPFW in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm Randy Yoder. I'm with Tony Davis, Sports Information Director at St. Francis College. And we're in a good game here, the championship game between St. Francis College and Huntington College. St. Francis has a 5-point lead, 72-67, with 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game. Huntington will take the ball out from underneath their own basket.
What looked to be a blowout has turned into a nail-biter for the St. Francis Cougars, and there's still plenty of time for Huntington's Foresters to pull this game out with 4:03 to go in the ball game.
Well, Huntington looking for a good shot. They're working their offense. Fino and Ango, and that ball is thrown out of bounds. There's a turnover. St. Francis needs that turnover.
That's about 8 turnovers in the second half for Huntington's Foresters.
Okay.
Let's see if Holstein goes back to his control tempo. 4 touches. There's 1.
Norris in the corner. Back out to Maheron. Pass to Kowicki. Off the back of the iron. No good. Rebound. Nichols.
3 touches, but Jim Holstein was pleased with the way they brought the ball down that time and moved the ball around on the outside.
I don't know if that was a shot they wanted. They might want to go in there and get the foul and challenge for that, but you know,
well, I think it's going to be interesting to see which one of these 2 big guys goes first, Klafter or Onyango.
Timeout, Huntington. Well, we got a 5-point lead with 3:15 left in the game. St. Francis College is up by 5, 72-67. Tune in Saturday, December 1st, as College Cable Access Channel 6 presents live coverage of the NCAA women's basketball. The Lady Norse of Northern Kentucky University take on IPFW's Lady Dons at 6 p.m. That's right here on Channel 6.
And immediately following that game at 8 p.m., you're going to see men's basketball, IPFW and Saginaw Valley State
Cardinals meet the Mastodons of IPFW. Join us as we bring to you our first college basketball doubleheader of the season right here on Channel 6.
Well, 3:15 to go in the ball game. 72-67. The St. Francis cheerleaders out cheering for their Cougars. I see a lot of alumni from St. Francis here, Randy, and that's real gratifying to see the guys come out and cheer for. They have their new building over there now, but it's good to be over here at the Sertoma IPFW tip-off tournament. Huntington keys it in. Number 22 is back in there, Scott Neff, their quarterback.
Turnover, Huntington. They tried the back door again, and nobody was home.
Big turnover for Huntington, big turnover.
Well, 3 minutes to go in this game, and St. Francis with a 5-point lead. They need to come down. They work time off the clock and try and either get a foul shot from with 10 feet or in, or get the foul.
I think you're going to see the ball in Brett Norris's hands a lot.
And he just got blocked. Onyango pinned it on the glass and controlled the rebound.
I think you're going to see Jim Holstein want to get the ball in Brett Norris's hands as much as possible, and they're going to try to keep it in Neff's hands as much as possible.
Well, Norris, I thought the foul was on Norris there, but it wasn't. It's on number 31, Dan Klawicki.
St. Francis College. Number 31, Dan Klawicki, his 4th personal.
And that's Dan's 4th foul, so now he's in foul trouble with 2 minutes and 44
St. Francis
seconds
has 2 minutes foul trouble, as does Huntington's Foresters. Klafter and Kowicki in foul trouble for St. Francis, and Onyango in trouble for Huntington. Here's the shot, up and good. 72-68, Randy. 2:44 to go in the ball game. And the second one up and in. 72-69, and here comes the press. We look for it. And that's the fifth.
is gone.
Sebastian Onyango. That's his 5th. Bye-bye. Taking a look at what Mr. Onyango has done tonight. He had 8 points in the first half, and that's just about all he's done. 2 minutes, 41 seconds to go. St. Francis 72 and Huntington 69. Larry Land, the freshman, on the foul line. He has not shot well from the foul line tonight, Randy. This one's up and in. We'll see how he does on the second one, Randy. Big free throws down the stretch. Here it is. It's up and in. 74-69, 5-point lead, St. Francis College. The consolation game tonight, IPFW over Indiana Tech, 86-76.
Over the top of the backboard, St. Francis will get the ball. 2:27 left in this game. The Cougars are ahead by 5, 74-69. I'm Randy Yoder with Tony Davis, bringing you the championship game here at the tip-off tournament, 1990 tip-off tournament here at IPFW. We're in the Athletic Center on the campus of IPFW, and almost turned over there by 25, Joe Maheron, I'm sorry. Out to 33, Larry Land, back to Norris. Running the
That's
clock.
the man they want to have it.
Reaching foul on number 11 for the Foresters, David Nichols. I'm sorry, check that. They called the reach foul on number 3, Marty Hale. That's his third. This will send 31. Dan Kluke, a sophomore from Convoy, Ohio. He went to Crestview High School along with a couple other of his teammates here in St. Francis.
Mike Bowen and Brett Norris.
He's 6'3", shooting 2.
Here's the first one up and
it's
in.
The first one. St. Francis needs clutch free throws now. They've hit a couple here towards the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Down the stretch. Very important. 75-69, 2:09. I think St. Francis is going to be visiting the charity stripe a lot in this last 2:09. Second one up and in. 7-point lead, St. Francis, 2:08 to go in the ball game. Here's Smith. Yes. It's a 2-pointer.
Timeout, Huntington. 5-point lead for the Cougars with 1 minute and 51 seconds left.
One of the real differences in the second half, David Nichols had 2 points at halftime, has 16 points here in the second half, Randy.
Our next live IPFW sports telecast will be on Wednesday, November 28th at 7 p.m. when IPFW meets the women of Oakland University. Tune in to Channel 6 as the college basketball season heats up this year. Well, it's gut check time here at the IPFW Athletics Center. St. Francis College Cougars have had the lead since the opening of the game. They had a 21-point lead at the half. The Huntington Foresters have closed it to 5. The score is 76-71. A minute 51 left in the game. We have Huntington with 10 team fouls, which puts St. Francis in the bonus for 2 shots every foul that's made, whereas St. Francis has 17 fouls and Huntington will shoot the 1-and-1 for the bonus. St. Francis has the ball. Larry Land will bring it inbounds, and looks like he's going to pass it to Dan Clafter, who gives it back to Larry. Larry brings the ball down. St. Francis is looking.
Going to pick him up right at half court. We'll see if they go into some kind of trap. Yes, they do. That's on David Nichols. That's his fourth or third. It's his third, Randy. No, it's his fourth. It is his fourth. That's a man they can't afford to lose on it coming down the stretch. I don't think Joe has shot any free throws tonight. He was 1 of 2 last night, Randy. Here he goes. The first one's up and around and out. Score stays the same, 76-71. Here's the second one. It's in. 6-point St. Francis lead. Work of the offense.
Nichols takes an ill-advised shot. Defense is right in his face. Norris controls the rebound. St. Francis wants to use the clock to their advantage now. They want to pass the ball, move and come to the ball, work the clock down. Huntington will foul. They have to. St. Francis isn't even looking for a shot unless it's a bunny.
They're in the 4 corners, Randy.
24 seconds on the shot clock. St. Francis passing the ball. Huntington on the man-to-man. Norris is fouled by number 22, Scotty Neff. Norris will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. That's very important. Those 10 fouls, it's not 1-and-1 now. So the pressure's off Brett. Now, Brett tonight, when he shot foul shot, he's missed the first one on about every time that he's gone to the line, but he's usually converted the second one.
He's not shot well at all tonight, Randy.
Well, this is when we'll find out what kind of captain
this is the guy that we want at the free throw line right now. He's 5 of 7 right now.
He makes both of these, and there's the first one, a 7-point lead.
7-point lead. That means they're going to have at least 3 possessions in this last 54 seconds.
And there's 2. 8-point lead now for St. Francis. This is the biggest lead they've had since about the middle of the second half. Smith controls underneath. Long shot off the back of the rim, controlled by 31, and he's knocked all over the floor. Controls it. The referee letting him play at the end of this game. Norris has the ball. Neff going for the foul. Norris covers up, and he's fouled. There's a fight. Number 11, Nichols, throws a cheap shot at Norris. You don't want to get Norris mad because he has a hot temper, but I think he's a little justified. Neff took a cheap shot at him, and then Nichols came in to try to finish it off. Number 31, Dan Klawicki's taking Norris over in the corner, calming down. Here's a good poise there by Klawicki, the sophomore controlling Norris. Let's get Norris calmed down. He looks okay. He needs both of these shots. This can ice this game.
Well, Brett was provoked out there.
He got hit in the eye.
Tempers are running real high right now. This has been a hotly contested game. Jim Holstein's really taking a good hard look at the referee right now. And Mr. Neff is pleading his case also.
Referee's going to sort this out here. Looks like a double foul situation, Tony, if I can read the referee's lips correctly. I think he's going to call a double foul on Norris and on Neff. I'm not sure. I've been wrong before, but it looks like he's talking that way because he's sure taking his time explaining it to the score. Now, if that's the case, it will be interesting to find out who gets possession, depending on who shoots the foul shot first. I would suppose it depends on who made the foul. The first foul is called on Norris, so he should shoot first. And the referees are still working it out. And they're calling the coaches in here. Meanwhile, Huntington's taking a timeout. I don't know if it's a necessary timeout because the referees are trying to sort this out for the coaches. So the assistant now for Huntington is trying to explain what's going on. Maybe they can save a timeout that way.
Both coaches hearing it from the referees right now. We have 35 seconds to go. 79-71. St. Francis over Huntington's Foresters. And maybe you could just go back over what happened out here at center court, Randy. Bring the people up to date.
Well, to tell you what happened, we had a fight. Brett Norris was trying to control the ball to draw the foul. There's only 35 seconds left in the game. He was double teamed by David Nichols and Scott Neff. Scott Neff fouled him. Norris didn't like it very well, and then Nichols took a shot at him, and Norris pushed back. I think Norris got poked in the eye. So we're going to sort this out for you now. It looks like we're going to have a double foul, dead ball fouls, nobody at the line. They'll probably let Norris shoot two, then they'll go down to the other end and shoot two.
Coach still arguing with the referee over here, Randy.
No, I think he's just trying to figure out what the heck's going on, because I'm not sure yet myself. And the PA announcer here at the arena isn't real straight either. Okay, Norris extends the lead for St. Francis to 9. Now, if he makes this, and then depending what Huntington does, it's still Huntington needs 3 possessions and 2 3-point plays to win.
And the second one didn't drop.
And Norris misses the second one. Now, I'm not sure what's going on. Norris is still standing there like he's going to shoot. And the referees aren't really sure either. So it looks like it might have been a technical call here. I'm not sure.
It could have been a double technical too, Randy.
That's a possibility.
RPA announced.
Okay, there was a technical foul called. Now Norris will shoot the technical. He shot the foul shots for himself first, and this is the technical. And there's a 10-point lead now for St. Francis. If Brett Norris makes this with 35 seconds left, Huntington's going to really have to foul and get lucky to win this game. And there's 11. Now we'll see what the other end of this. It looks like we're going to do a technical foul.
Then a double technical.
That's what it was, a double technical foul, Tony. David Nichols, the junior from Muncie, 6'5", will shoot for Huntington. He'll shoot 2. This is the technical. And there's the first one. It'll be interesting. Who gets possession? Are we going to have a jump ball here? Or are they going to do all their possession because of the double foul?
I'm not sure, Randy. I think St. Francis is going to get some control.
No, Huntington's going to get it.
Going to get the ball.
I think Huntington gets it because of possession. The referees were talking to the man running the possession clock down here, the official. So that usually in the old days was a jump ball, but on the alternate possession, Huntington gets it. New with a 3-shot off the rim. Rebound taken down by Hale. Stolen by Brett Norris. And there's a, gee, what a call.
Wait a minute, there's another official.
Okay, there's a foul out on top here, overridden by the jump ball. I don't know how you get a jump ball by giving a guy a bear hug from the backside.
It's getting pretty rough out here, Randy.
The foul overruled. Well, Again, Brett Norris right there in the action. He likes to be there.
And that's the man that Jim Holstein wants there.
Okay, he'll be shooting 2 now. 82-72, 26 seconds left in this game. The St. Francis Cougars here in the championship final against the Huntington Foresters. And I think if Brett makes one of these, Tony, this game's done. It's done.
It's done. 11-point lead.
I'm not going to be like that guy that was broadcasting the Phillies game who said if Pittsburgh comes back, he'll walk back to Philly because Pittsburgh came back. But with a 12-point lead, with a 12-point lead,
they've got to shoot downtown now.
Long, very long on that moonshot. Norris controls the rebound. He's fouled. Foul on number 10, I think. He's got that glazed look in his face. That's like, who, me? Number 10, Rob New, I think, picked up the foul. And that's his 5th, and he's out of the game. So, Tony, does Brett have some statistics there? Rob New just fouls out. Okay,
we're working them up.
We'll get him to you here in a minute. Well, the game's almost over. We'll give you a recap, but I think St. Francis College can be considered the champion of the IPFW tip-off tournament. And last year, St. Francis lost both games in this tournament. They finished 4th. So, big turnaround with essentially the same team.
Jim Holstein said that the pride of Fort Wayne was on the line tonight, and he would really like to win this for Fort Wayne with both Indiana Tech and IPFW in the losers bracket. He's got a lot to be proud of, but I also think that Huntington has a lot to be proud of. They weren't supposed to be here tonight either. They upset IPFW 103-93, and they put on quite a show last night against a Division II team.
Norris puts more icing on the cake. Back to a 14-point lead. Long shot, no. Rebound, foul on Clafter. Foul on Clafter with 9 seconds to go. It's pretty academic right now. St. Francis will be declared the champion of the IPFW 1990 tip-off tournament.
Jim Holstein's going to empty his bench. Here's Jim Kozakiewicz, who came in the first half, made 2 very, very important baskets. They all are important. 9 seconds to go, 86-72, St. Francis.
.13-point lead now for St. Francis with David Nichols on the line, shooting a second of a 1-and-1. Long pass down to Larry Land. Dribbles the ball around. He's just going to wear the clock out now. 3, 2, 1, and that's it.
That's it. St. Francis College, winners of the Sertoma IPFW Tip-Off Classic. Coach Bled, Coach Holstein shake hands, as does assistant coach Tom Jackson. The players exchanging greetings. They were a little hot at the end, but I think it's all over now, and they all have a lot to be proud of, as we've said earlier.
Final score of this ball game, St. Francis College 86, the Huntington Foresters 73. St. Francis College wins the IPFW 1990 tip-off tournament. They were expected, Tony, to finish 4th, and I must honestly admit, from what I've heard and talked about, they were not expected to win. Huntington and St. Francis were both supposed to meet in the consolation game tonight. It was a turnaround after 2 upsets last night, with St. Francis upsetting Indiana Technical, and then the Huntington College Foresters really pulling off the upset against the Mastodons of IPFW. And coming to this championship game.
We're going to have some presentations. Let's go right out to the floor.
And I think they're going to be naming the all-tournament team at the same time. So as we get it, we'll let you know.
Absolutely.
They're now awarding the, I think it's IPFW down here in front of the scorers table. They're getting the 3rd-place trophies for the consolation, being the consolation winners, defeating Indiana Tech in the first game tonight.
And that score was 86-76, Randy.
So I'm not sure who's giving the awards right now. But IPFW out on the floor taking their consolation championship trophies with them. St. Francis College anxiously over in the corner waiting. I think they're mostly stunned. I know I am.
This has certainly got to be a big, big win for Jim Holstein and his Cougars. Came into the season this year ranked 14th in NAIA District 21. Lost their first 2 games, a heartbreaker down in Marion, 77-75, and then opening up their new athletic center, stayed close for about 35 minutes before Indiana Wesleyan pulled away, and then coming in here last night, upsetting Indiana Tech by a count of 86-81.
David Nichols accepted the second place trophy for the Foresters, and now St. Francis College will get their individual trophies for being the champions of the IPFW tip-off tournament here.
And here's Mike Reinbold coming up to get his trophy. Mike's a junior from North Judson.
Number 14, Brian Mason.
Number 14, Brian Mason. Mason is a freshman from Kings High School in Maysville, Ohio. Here's Mike Bowen. He's on crutches, but he's out there to get it. Crestview High School, 20, Ohio City.
John Tudor.
Excellent ball game. John Tudor, big ball game last night. Played, finished with 8 tonight. Joe Maharan had that hot streak here in the first half, Randy.
Number
and he had 10 points tonight. Dan Kowicki. 26 points last night, 13 tonight. Certainly a candidate for MVP.
Larry Land.
Larry Land, the freshman, 8 points tonight, 12 last night.
Certainly an orientation. John Miller.
John Miller played a strong ball game last night. Came in, did a little work tonight.
Brett Norris.
Brett Norris, the team leader, the junior from St. Francis College. Ended up with 36 points. 14 out of 17. Todd Galloway, hard worker, good young man from Kankakee High School. Jim Kozakiewicz, 2 big baskets in the first half, Randy, that really helped out. And the big man, Dan Clafter from Middleton, Ohio, played tough underneath.
And now we're going to get the I think we're going to get the awarding of the
statistician and the 2 team managers come up and get the trophies.
They're going to give them they give trophies to everybody in this tournament, this class operation now. The trainers and the managers will get trophies as well for the first place team, and the team is very happy. The Cougars here have even their record this season to 2-2. Huntington College is 1-1. And a very strong performance by St. Francis. Huntington closed the gap from a 21-point lead by the Cougars at halftime and came back to within 1 point, but the Cougars never lost the lead tonight, and then they came back in the clutch and started hitting the foul shots and took control of the game again, winning by 13.
Here's the all-tournament team, Randy.
From Huntington College, number 55, Sebastian Onyango.
Sebastian Onyango was named to the all-tournament team from Huntington College. He's a 6'7" junior from Nairobi, Kenya. 220 pounds, big man.
Number 22, Scott Neff.
Scott Neff, number 22, a sophomore guard from Huntington, Indiana, also named to the tournament.
He had 7 tonight, Randy.
From IPFW, number 41, Sean Gibson.
Sean Gibson from IPFW was named to the all-tournament team, and he's coming out now to accept his trophy. IPFW disappointed in their performance in this tournament.
Number 31, Dan Kowicki.
Dan Kowicki, St. Francis
Dan Kowicki, number 31, 6'4" forward, sophomore, business administration major at St. Francis from Crestview High School in Convoy, Ohio.
From Huntington College, number 11, David Nichols.
From Huntington College, number 11, David Nichols, a 6'5" junior from Muncie, Indiana. Huntington now has 3
MVP of the Sertoma Tip-Off Classic from St. Francis College, number 35, Brett Norris.
Brett Norris named the most valuable player of this tournament for St. Francis College. Last season, Brett Norris was named to the all-tournament team, the only member of St. Francis College, as St. Francis lost both games last year. And this year they turn it around with the same team and take the championship.